By every passing second, President William Samoei Ruto realizes that he is not only dealing with Gen Zs. In fact, Gen Zs only decided to lead a demonstration, a protest against a president who has refused to listen to people's sentiments. And as William Ruto retires to State House or Karen or Surgoi, wherever he spends his nights after the 18th of June when the protest started, intelligence is telling him, the report that he gets, that this thing is wider than he thinks. It is not only Gen Z. Every generation, every department is tired. During the protests, there were several things that happened. People were killed, maimed. We are still retrieving bodies that we have not verified. I know they are trying to attach it to some cult. But there is a story about the protest that really caught the attention of the nation. This story is about a prison warder who is attached to Community Maximum Prison, who decided in the midst of the reality that if he protests as a government civil servant, then he would lose his job. Knowing very well and taking cognizance of the fact that he is a uniformed police officer or a prison warder, if he's found out there, it will be tantamount to almost sabotage. And I know he had read the code of ethics that guides uniformed men. But this guy decided that he was going to stand with Gen Z no matter what it took. And he went there and started protesting, guess what? In full uniform, I mean. And he was caught in camera. And in viral videos that went round, this officer was seen carrying placards in uniform, and the placards were reading, "I am doing this on behalf of government employees who is tired of Zakayo but can't say anything because kazi itaenda." You can imagine someone who knows very well that kazi itaenda, the way he puts it, but he decided to stage a protest in solidarity with Gen Z, in solidarity with government employees who he says are tired of Zakayo, are tired of the Ruto administration, but cannot say, because when William Ruto campaigned, he promised every department that he would look into their affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy, this prison warder, has been relieved of his duties. And you know what? While speaking to news reporters, he was saying, "I don't regret protesting." His nickname is Shakur. Now, this story, it is said that an officer attached to the Community Maximum Prison, Jackson Kuria is the name, Jackson Kuria Kihara, alias Shakur, has stated that he harbors no regrets over his participation in the anti-government protest that culminated in him being fired from the government job. Speaking to journalists on Saturday, the cop stated that he was dismissed unfairly from his role after images of him protesting in his official uniform circulated widely. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the level of anger and displeasure and even discord within the civil servants. You know, William Ruto forced Parliament in the Finance Bill 2023, and they passed that bill. It contained several punitive taxes. It is the one that also contained the housing levy. So government, civil servants are deducted this money, and there are several other deductions, and they are very tired. If William Ruto would give a chance to employees to exercise their outrage, I can assure you it would be very bad. There are very many police officers, military officers, prison warders, KWS, teachers, doctors who are very tired of this administration. That's why doctors were on the street the other day. I think nurses and clinical officers staged a night vigil at Kenyatta National Hospitals. Teachers who are supposed to be employed in William Ruto are telling them that since Kenyans rejected the Finance Bill 2024, then they will not be employed. Yet people look at the government, the way they spend a lot of money, including renovation of State House, the money that they have procured to renovate Gachagwa's offices, the money that let me say, were going to the offices of first and second lady, and they are looking at this and they're saying no. They listen and read news of the inspector, the auditor general, control of budget, revealing just how wasteful this government is, and they feel very tired. So Jackson Kuria is just but one of the people who decided liwe liwalo. I think he looked at his life and he said, afadhali kazi iende. Ladies and gentlemen, this tells you that people are very tired. This guy was ready to lose his job. And William Ruto must understand that even if you sack, and I know the law will be followed, most likely he has already lost his job, and I understand that he will face disciplinary committee. I wonder whether they are not allowed to have unions. I don't know whether they are supposed to, the way other employees have got, departments have got unions. I don't know whether police, I don't know. He's ready to face the disciplinary committee, whatever they're going to say, and he says he does not regret. Now, ladies and gentlemen, recently, William Ruto formed a task force that was supposed to look into the issues and predicaments that are bedeviling the National Police Service, the Kenya Prison Service, and the National Youth Service. And this task force was headed by the former Chief Justice David Maraga. They spent money on it. They took their time. They talked about issues of service, remuneration, what they go through, and they delivered this report to William Samoei Ruto. William Ruto said he was ready to act on this report. To date, I don't think whether there is anything that has been done. Instead, we hear a lot of scandals and wastage. And this is the reason why the police, the KWS and the prison wardens are very, very mad. Because they work through, some pathetic conditions. There was a time Kithure Kindiki, the former Interior CS, visited one of the residential places of the police in Kisii, and he was shocked. They live in mabati structures. I think the pay is not all that up to date. It's not commensurate to what they do. And this is the reason why some of this, when they realized that the Gen Z had started this movement, this uprising, they decided, let us support it. And many of them are tired. If you speak to them, if you have a conversation, you will realize that these people are tired. William Ruto signed, written and verbal contracts with several departments, Women League, I don't know, the county government, teachers, and he promised them quite a lot. Yet, when he gets to power, all we hear is that his very closest allies are now working with watches that are very expensive. They don very expensive and executive clothes. And this is what culminated into this rage. I understand that people have started making noise that some of the cabinet secretaries should be reinstated. But the Gen Zs are saying that when you dissolved this government, you took responsibility and you accepted that this is they are incompetent and very corrupt, and they will not go back. If they do, it is going to be sad. So, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto must look into this report, this task force, because it was completed a few months ago, some months ago. This is doing nothing. If we would stop all the wastage and corruption, and we channel this money into free education, into increment of salaries to all these departments, including the uniformed departments, I mean, they will be very happy. And this is the reason why, because that report also talked about corruption. Ile 50 wanachukua kila siku kwa barabara, kwa mabaa, hizi, clubs. It will not end until we change our attitude. Because this culture of kitu kidogo will never end. But people are red and people don't care anymore. The actions of this officer is just a tip of an iceberg. Many are tired and they are ready to express their displeasure. And I know most of you will say, oh, this guy is reckless, he was not careful about his job. But let me tell you, sometimes people say, enough is enough. I don't think that is my take.